My name is Rodolphe Boulanger, and I'm the sales manager of Goldmund, and Antonio is the head of technical department. The Goldmund company was born in 1978, so it's now a long time. It was born with a turntable and tangential arm, and later developed into a company specialized in amplification, in amplifiers with an amplification technology. And over the years, this amplification technology enabled us to work towards the building of a whole range of products, including speakers. I'll let you finish on that.
Yeah, we control and we develop all the parts that make the audio system, from the source to the speaker, specialized on the amplifier. That's why we can have a final product that is very high-end and represent all the best that we can do in audio.
We fully control the whole chain, contrarily to a lot of other brands that can control only the amplification side or that can control only the speaker side. Let's make it simple. We can propose everything from source to speakers. That's our particularity. So there are many points in your question, actually.
Yeah.
So it's true that Goldmund is not only a brand that is active in very high-end audiophile products, but it's also a luxury brand. This is probably the brand that has achieved, that has managed to position itself the best in the industry at this level. That's one thing. And regarding the ultra high-end Swiss-made products, that's from the very beginning of the history of the brand. That's what the founder, the creator of the company, wanted to do. He wanted to benefit from the experience of the Swiss industry in terms of watches. This industry has the capacity to deal with a lot of subcontractors, make them manufacture very small pieces, and everything has to be absolutely perfect to fit together afterwards. Then all of the different parts come into the factory, and then everything is assembled there with the utmost care for detail and quality. And when the creator of the company, Mr. Rodolphe, decided to create Goldmund, this is what he had in mind from the very beginning. Just use the experience of the watch manufacturers, just use the big experience of the Swiss industry as a whole, and let's use it for the audio industry. Let's make it the way the watch industry do it, and make the same for the audio industry.
So actually, as we said before, we use different parts. An amplifier is made of mechanical parts, electronics, and of course there is the assembly. So if we divide by section, this is not general matter. Normally it takes around 4 to 6 weeks to receive the mechanical part, to make the mechanical parts. After, we need, depend on the product, if you are asking for the biggest one that we are doing is the Telos 5500, which takes, depend on quantity, but let's say, for an example, a batch of 50 units, we will need 2 weeks of assembling all the parts electronic together. After, there is a testing time that it will take another week with warm up, listening, control, everything. So this is all including the assembly. Above that, we need to make the design, we need to assemble the electronic, and everything is done before. So in terms of assembling, it will take more or less, in the factory 1 month to 3 weeks, 1 month to make the full batch. But we need to purchase all the parts before and make them. So totally depend on the product, but it will take 2 months or less to make one unit.
Well, I think it's really the signature we are looking for. What you've heard is actually what we are after. That is, first of all, we manufacture speakers that have no signature. I mean, there are no coloration. Their signature is that they're almost invisible. They disappear and they leave the space to music. That's all. No coloration because they are made out of a mix of aluminum, so it's a very rigid material. And everything during the manufacturing of the product, in terms of mechanical, I speak only about mechanics, is supposed to be extremely rigid, no vibration, no noise coming from somewhere else than the actual source and the result of what has been, what the music should sound like. Then there is the whole, because we are in digital, there is the whole speaker calculation that is extremely important. You want to?
Yeah, since we design the electronic that will match the driver to make the entire speaker, we can do the electronic in a way that the speaker sound exactly what it should sound, right? Thanks to the DSP and the digital domain, we can do that. We can design a speaker as we want, actually. And as Rodolphe said, we want the purest sound, no coloration. That's why in the digital domain we can achieve this quality by using a DSP. And thanks to our internal and own knowledge of acoustic, we can implement everything into the DSP to sound as pure as possible.
That is why you have this feeling of openness, of a sound scene which is very clear. You can position everything at the right place, the instruments, the singer, everything is clear, is logic, it's exactly as it was during the recording. So we participated to the GAIA Munich in 2022. We had 2 new products about to be launched, and each of these products were at both sides of the spectrum. That is, the high-end, super high-end flagship product called GAIA, and then a more entry-level product called PULP, but which is dedicated to try to get more customers to know about us. It's a more it's a pair of speakers that is more adapted to a younger crowd, to people that are not audiophiles, to an easier use. At the other end, you have also a product that is not so complicated to use, but which is extremely impressive, very big, the top of the line. I would say part of it is same technologies inside. We use amplification, for example, in PULP and in GAIA. It's the same bass. We never compromise on that, same bass. One of them has more connectivities, it's the PULP, because it's for a crowd that will need to use it with a streamer, an iPad, a streaming service, all kind of very easy way to use. And at the other end, it's a customer that is maybe a bit more classic, but still that is looking for the best. So coming back to the high end, we decided to have only these 2 products because first of all, they were the launch of the year. And then we didn't want people to be, how can I say that? We wanted them to be focused on these 2 new products and people know us very well for the amplification, for the electronics, and here we wanted to put the focus on what we believe is the future of the industry, and for us included, of course, it is these high-end active speakers. So I would say in terms of volume, it's about the same. Maybe we sell a little bit more electronics than speakers for a very simple reason. When you want to build a setup or a system, if you have passive speakers, you will need amplification, mono amps, preamps. You need more PCs to build the system. So in the end, it is logic that you sell more of them for the same number of systems sold around the world. Okay, but this is a trend that is moving and changing, and we expect that at some point these active speakers will be the majority of what is built in our factory at some point. But for the moment, it's still pretty balanced.
Okay.
So the Vietnamese market is a very dynamic one. We have the possibility of checking what's happening around the world, everywhere, in Asia, in the US, in Europe, and you can tell that Vietnam is one of the countries that's growing very, very fast. There is an appetite for new things, for beautiful things, and for very technologically advanced things as well. So we believe that at the moment the typical Vietnamese customer who is looking for very high-end audio products is still very much audiophile. They still have this appetite for electronics, but there is a new generation coming, and this request for more compact products, more accessible products in terms of understanding also. How do I use it every day? How do I play my music? This is a new crowd which is actually regenerating the market, and we believe strongly that the customer of tomorrow will be the one purchasing our active speaker range, and a little bit less probably the electronic parts necessitating more PCs to build a setup. But Vietnam is definitely a priority for us, and we see that it's going to be one of the biggest markets for the industry in the next few years, for sure.